Pacific greetings. Today on our 685, we're spotlighting a dynamic voice in Auckland's mayoral race, Kerrin Leoni, with 6 years of council experience and a background in economics and property investment. Kerrin is stepping forward with a bold promise to make Auckland more livable, connected and future-ready for tackling traffic congestions, as well as addressing housing and cost of living pressures. So she's campaigning to bring real change to our communities. Stay tuned as we explore her vision and what she stands for this pivotal election coming up. The 11th of October, is it? It's a wonderful opportunity to welcome our guest, Kerrin Leoni, and her team on board. How are you? How are you, ladies, this afternoon?
Well, we just had a big morning. We've been with Mr. Wayne Brown, our current mayor, at a debate in Mangere, at the Mangere centre there. It's been really interesting, actually, because that was actually a 1 hour debate. That's probably the longest that we've had an opportunity to debate and talk about our policies, and to happen in Southside. That's great. You know, that he was finally able to get out and meet with the community. Really grateful to have the support of NIFO to come along to the debate as well and be here today.
Wow. Just before we get into the nitty-gritty of our Talanoa this afternoon, Hamo Chats segment, can you tell us a little bit by yourself?
I started my career out here in South Auckland when I was 21. I'm 45 now, so that's only just a few years ago. But I started
just yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday. I still feel like I'm 25. But yeah, I started in Otahu in social work and actually went into property investment in Otahu as well, and then went over to the UK and had a consultancy over there in senior social services sector. Huge community of Māori and Pacifica over there in London and right across the UK. Did a lot of travelling, then came back here and got into local government. Got my 8-year-old twin, so I'm keeping very busy. Right. And yeah, so I was the deputy chair of the Waitemata local board, which is in the city centre, right in close to Queen Street. I was residing there. Now I'm out west in Avondale and been the ward councillor out there, and now we're going for mayor. And this is what we have to normalise. I was saying earlier, is for us as Polynesians in this city with the biggest Polynesian population in the world residing here in Auckland, we've got to keep putting our names up for the big roles to normalise that we can actually do these roles, because we can. You know, we've got all the skills and attributes, and when you look at the stepping stones, and always want to acknowledge the late Officer Collins, and he was a friend of mine, and you know, he always just talked about breaking those glass ceilings. So we have to continue to put our names up for these jobs and just keep going to have the best representation for our people.
Fantastic. So you served as both a local board deputy chair and a ward councillor. Can you point out one specific initiative or policy that you led that made a measurable difference in Auckland for Aucklanders?
Yeah, we were very, well, when I say lucky, we were grateful. As the Faux Ward Councillor, I was able to get $15 million for my ward to build the community centre there in Avondale. Wow. And that had been dragging on for about 10 years. There had been a lot of process around putting the design together, consultation, and that happens quite a bit across Auckland. You'll find that, you know, the designs and things are put in place, but it takes a while to get the funding. So we managed to get that 15 million for Avondale, and we've been able to get another 300,000, I think it is, for the next steps towards building a pool in the Faux Ward, because unfortunately when you compare West Auckland to South Auckland, South's actually got a lot more swimming pools, public swimming pools, but out west you've only got one out in Henderson. And I've been in that line in the summertime too. At West Wave we have to wait about an hour before you can get in the pool. So we're trying to push really hard for the next steps to build a pool in the Faux Ward as well.
Now, we've noticed that many Aucklanders feel disconnected from council decisions. What have you done in the previous roles to improve transparency and community engagement?
I think it's all about being visible, like Aucklanders being out there. And it was good today because Harry, who's on the local board as well, he did a really good presentation on the difference between central government and local government. And, it's really important, I think, that we get that into that education into high schools.
Yes.
And even for a lot of us as adults, like I know for a long time, even as a property owner, because no one had really sat me down and explained the difference between the two, we don't tend to engage because it's always seen, I think, as for people who are ratepayers, but people think that ratepayers are only homeowners, but you're still paying the rates when you're renting a property. So we've been doing a lot of that, trying to just educate people, get out into the community, let them know the difference it makes with all of the local board funding, with the funding that comes through from council. We're dealing with all the day-to-day stuff that Aucklanders need to deal with. I always say when you wake up, you brush your teeth, you make yourself a cup of tea, that's all local government. When you either get onto public transport or you drive to your work or to school, that's all public. That's local government as well.
Administrations.
Yeah, it's not until you get onto the state highway that's central government. And
that's right.
The more that we educate our people on the difference, I think
knowing the difference between.
Knowing the difference, and a lot of the community events that happen in your local communities is all local government. It's all local government funding. So actually, local government is the heart and soul of our city, and that's why the more we tell people about it, the more we can get them excited to understand that their voice and their vote counts for this election.
So traffic congestions, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
there's a central government and infrastructure, a major concerns. And what practical solutions have you already supported or implemented, and how would you scale them as a mayor?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is again just letting people know that we already have a $50 weekly cap on public transport, and a lot of our people do not know that.
Right.
We've had that for over a year now, and for those that are really struggling in terms of cost of living, that $50 cap, if they know that exists compared to having to spend $100 on petrol, parking and everything else, then that's giving them the option to use public transport. So some of it, again, I think is about us as leaders getting onto public transport, doing more lives, doing more videos to normalize it, because 80% of Aucklanders still drive. So I think it is kind of like a culture thing. And I noticed that when I came back from living over in the UK, like in the UK, as soon as you fly into London, you're on a train or you're on a bus. As soon as you fly in here, you've usually parked your car at the park and ride.
Right next,
yeah.
footstep.
Exactly. And I know we've got the busway and everything happening, and we do have that public bus, the private bus that you can catch. But I think if we move towards actually having a train from the airport, just kind of move our city with the times and get some of that key infrastructure in, which will get people more confident about reliable transport. So keeping that $50 cap, having a full overview of our current transport network across the city, because when you look at places like Sydney, again, really good transport networks. If we can get an overview from a city that has got really good transport networks to make the changes that we need to do, that's what I'm wanting to do within the first 100 days, is like have that review of our transport networks. How can we improve it to make it better? Then 3 train lines I'm pushing for, one to the airport, the Avondale South Down line, which would connect west to South Auckland.
To South Auckland, yeah.
Yeah, and that will get people out of cars where that congestion's happening at the moment. And then the Huapai train line is another one to get people who are living right out further west to get onto public transport as well, because the train line already exists. We just need to get the train up and running again.
Have they thought of another initiative like paying some like credit to people that will actually take public transport instead of traveling by car?
I'm thinking about that. I'm really thinking, because I know Aucklanders respond really well to incentives, and we, I'm thinking about something like if we did 1 day, like in the month of free travel, or something like that, like an incentive or some kind of like coffee vouchers if you can catch a train for the day.
Just to encourage people
to get people to get used to it, and because it's all about downloading the Auckland Transport app, and then pretty much you can put your address in of where you are and where you're going to, and it's just normalizing it and getting more of your family to get used to it, or even just start by using it on the weekends.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Reaching it from here. Anyway, you've pledged to keep the rates below double digits, and how do you plan to balance that with the urgent need for investment in housing, transport, and climate resilience?
Yeah. Well, we already have what's called as a long-term plan. So our plan, the 10-year plan, already has all of the rates locked in for the next 10 years. So at least for the next 3 years, we know that those rates are definitely under double digits. But what I'm saying is in year 2 of the budget, which is set for a 3.5% increase, to bring that down even further to bring it down to 2.5. So that would mean that I'd have to save around $20 million in the budget to bring it down. And how I hope to do that is save money in the contracting space. So I think a lot of people talk about the fact that we've got some contractors that are, we talk about the steps that were built at a beach over on the North Shore for like $30,000 when they could have been built for $5,000. There's a lot of those things still happening across the city, and if we can get on top of that and save some money, that's where I think we can bring the rates down for Aucklanders. In terms of the infrastructure, again, most of the infrastructure plans are already baked into our current budget. So what I'm saying is if we're going to add to the current budget or look at a particular infrastructure project that we need to implement, then I'd put that out for consultation first. So if Aucklanders say, hey, we are really keen to have a train line out to the airport, and I want to partner with another company that wants to also put some money towards that. Anything that we do above and beyond the current budget, we will make sure that goes out for consultation first and hear what Aucklanders have got to say.
So you've worked in property investment and consultancy, like overseas. How has that experience shaped your approach to solving Auckland's housing crisis?
Oh, yes, that's a really big one. Auckland's housing crisis is really difficult right now because, what we're hearing is we actually have a lot of empty houses that people cannot buy because they can't afford to buy them. So we've got developers that are not totally happy because you've got all these these empty homes, but there's some developers that have started thinking outside of the square to actually make them affordable rentals, long-term affordable rentals. So that's what I'd love to see more across the city, and we have a goal to reach of around 10,000 homes that would be affordable rentals or shared equity, so similar to what we have out in East Auckland with the Tamaki regeneration. And I always talk about Councillor Josephine Bartley, how she got onto the property ladder with the shared equity opportunity she had to buy her first home. So she didn't have to go for a $700,000 mortgage. She could just kind of halve that, which gave her the opportunity to get on. So more of those, and key worker housing as well, because a lot of our nurses and teachers are leaving Auckland because we don't have affordable housing. So if we can have some key worker housing with some really affordable long-term rents, I think that will help them stay and will be good for our city.
Fantastic. Any final thoughts, Kerrin?
No, obviously the big one right now is for us to get out and vote. The voter turnout is so low at the moment. We've only, I think it's around 11 or 12%. And when you think about our population now, our Polynesian community, I mean, combined, across Auckland. It's at least 30%, I think, of Aucklanders when you think about Māori and Pacifica together. So that's a really big number when you think of the 1.2 million people that can be voting for this election. But it's been very hard because we haven't had that mainstream media, because unfortunately our current mayor hasn't been happy to attend many debates. So we haven't been getting a lot of that media that you would normally get in the previous election. So we're just asking people to really encourage their friends and family to get out and vote, and to try and look online. Wayne Brown and I actually did a Q&A session with Jack Tame on the weekend. So if people are wanting to know more about our policies, they can go onto YouTube and watch that. And then obviously we've got a lot of support. I'm grateful to have Nifo here supporting me on the campaign to get out to all the community networks and just remind them to vote, because you can see the difference in the amount of money that's put into the central government elections. I mean, there's advertising all over the place. There's debates happening all over the place on TV. We've only had one TV show for this whole election on a Sunday when most people are at church anyway. So it's really, I think it's sad to see that such a low amount of people have voted so far. So we're just really wanting everyone to encourage friends and family to vote for this election. What do you think, Nifo?
Nifo?
O se tātou atinu mai la tofo I ro whaafonga mai atinu mau I nei Port Kalame I o lo ingo o Nifo le Aso Tofi ia ua whapena ona sosoani I le whainga o le campaign ale nei tamaitai o le councillor I le taimi nei tutonu o le council ia ma o ia fo esta tamaitai Maori ia o se e te le ia ni a fo nei ni ona anga waa o lo sauma ia I te tonu ole nei tamoenga o ia olona o ia ile master o mea tau economics ia o mea fo I tau tupe ia ele ngatalina e fo olona masa I mea tau youth development ma olona amatanga fo I ole social worker ia e tele lani vaenga o lo I ona lima po ona anga vaa e mawhai e ona wha atau nuina ia tūlanga o lo tala noa tuai I ana vatau ia ele ngata na ole wo ono tausanga o te tonu ole council ma o te councillors fo ila ole o don tūlanga le o lo ia taminei ia o la tō ia o lo whapena ona whaia whai unga I le whaasoa ina o alanga tupe ia ai mai se fo ia le whainga o awhainei o ana o ia too low lava le whainga o plans o le
policies
o tū la fono ia e mai se foi ia le whaasoa ina o le mea tau tupe I tutonu mō tangata uma lava o Kilani I tūlanga o mea tau whale I whapena ona mawalalo lo na tau o ni vaenga ia lo tau mwhai eisi nei tamaitai o le tele o whale ia le pe onto whaafonga mai ai ia o lo tu solo I tutonu o Kilani ia le tele o whale o a whenei o le council. Ai le ini mea o whaia iai, ona o lai o lo maare pelepe nisi vaenga, ia tūlanga whapena. Ia ai le o lava se tupe whaia ai, pei tai la o le anga waa lea o lo o sau mara tamai tai nei, le tū tau whaasosoa ina o le tamau ainga. O lo na masta lea na maua mai ana o o. Ia o lea lai mawhai ona tau tala ai ma le lotu tele. O se anga waa le mawhai ona ia tau awe ina, pe a tūlai mai te tonu o le kansula o le mea o Kilani. Ia, pe lau le tūlanga na o lo o nei fo I tangata. Ia o le whatoa wheroa ina nei tamaitai. Ia paule o se tangata ina o lo whapena po se tangata Polensia. O lo whapena ona ia ili tamo engal nei. Ia mea na o ia fo le tamaitai. O lo tamo e te tonu nei tamo enga e vea ma mea o Kilani. Ia ina o whaalongolongo ma o matamata fo I ana vatau. Ia na whapena na o e se langona ia tea o le tangata Samoa po le tangata Pasifika. Le ai lai mana ia pe o le tano atu o ia. O tele ia ni taimi o tano ai ia ma si tamali I fo ia e Feso Collins le to silafia uma. Le talano ai na ile tu lea o le tele o taimi ua le ini ava noa whaapea e maua tangata Pasifika. Leo o ia I tofi ia maua lulunga, e whaia whai unga o Aukilani. Ia po tonu fo I oni company. Ia o le alawa rei ona mana o tamoe, ona o le lava lo na malama le whaatino ina o whai unga I tonu o le council. E mai se fo le whaasoa ina, ma le whaatino ina o whai unga I tonu o le fo I tofi o le mea. Ia o le wha inga tonu o le pule o Aukilani. Ia mai ia o se tūlanga lana na o e loe ta ule la ngona whaapea. Leo tātou tangata Samoa o tangata sa ili malo. Ai mai se le whatoa umatu nei le pālo ta Samoa. Ia le mai tau ina I lunga o benga ta whailang. Le fusu o loto tangata ia manu malo ia la tau pāti. Ia le lawa o le taimi nei. O le pālota nei o le mea Aukilani. E whito I tonu lava I nofoanga o lo tātonu nofo ai tonu Aukilani. Mai e awha ina I foi I au tātou tangata I whai unga e whaia le meia. O le tā ua la lea o le tātou pālota. Pālota ma le mautinoa, ma le pālota ma le malama I angava o le tangata o lo whapena ona tūla I mai. E fusu mo lea tofi. Ia o la wa ulea whapena ona toe whapopo atu. Ia e tā ua lava le tātou o e pālota mo le nei tofi. Ia e mai se fo nei ta mai tai o le ofolo atu o ngā ngavaa. Whapena ona ia mwhai e ona tau ave ina le nei tofi. Ia ai le ngata ilia. Ia o lunga o penga ta whailangi I le Facebook. O lo o matua tele ai fo inia videos o wa uma ona folofolo atu ma whaalau I loa atu ai. Ia ana vatau. Ia po o ngavaa fo I mawhai ona au auna atu ai na I o tātou tangata anuu. A inga. Mai se fo I o tātou communities. Ia peila o le toe tā lava lea o le vai aso le nei. Wha manatu atuai a whaina aluatu ni envelope plan moli I te tonu o laupusa meli. Ia o le taimi le nei I whapena o na mo I lātou, ele I whapena o na whaia lātou pālota. Ia leo tau whaafonga mai I le telo ni tūlanga o wholwhalina le tama e ta I le ngata sosoani I le whaatau ngofi eina o whimalanga eina I lungo le ale tele. Mai se fo I au mai I lalo tau whale. Ia ma le tele fo I o matanga luenga o lo whapena o na ave ia ele a fo ina ele meia ia mo meo konekta rate whaatino ai ia ngaluenga I tono Aukilani. I so se matata ese. Ia o le tele o tangata ia ave ia konkarate whapena o na da toi whai mai e to e vatu se tolu miliona po nisi tau I lunga atu. O le tau o umana whaatu wina mo le konekta rate. Ia o tupela na le tau mawhai ia sinei tamaitai. Sefe ina mai na ia whao ngā mo nisi tu o le tātou community ia po o whala potonga e kale sia ia maainga e alu tonu I aile nei tupe e whapena ona ia sefe ina mai tu tonu o kon karate ia e whapena ona mana o mia e whaatele atu ia ni tupe mai nei kon karate ia o lo uanganga lea ia whapena ona tātou lango fo isi nei tamai tai e whai mo tātou sui. O leo o tau whaafonga mai, ia mo I lātou ele I pālota, pe ele I whaatu uina foi. Ia o le taimi le lei al nei, o le isesi taimi a whape lafo atu nei lunga o le meli. Ia ai longa I tau nuu I le taimi I talwhea ngai o le pālota. Ai pe maa nei la whaatu mulo lau form. Ia ona e sula ia ave o I pusala I tutonu o le library, public library, ia po o tutonu fo I o nisi supermarket I o lo tutu ai pusalan moli. E tuu I aila o pepa pālota.
Get out there and vote.
O le nei pālota e au ngā o lo leo lea mo I tutonu o whaalanga maia po whainga upu ala mālo I tutonu o Aukilani. Ia e tā ua lea mo oe maa ua e maise fo I o lo ainga. Ia whaafitai, ia o stoi whaapopo atu lea. Ia whamanu ia tele lava lea tua lau whaafonga mai nei tū la, whaafitai lava.
Oh, thank you very much, ladies, for coming in, extending our sincere gratitude to Kerrin Leoni and your team, and you for your unwavering dedication and service, your leadership, vision, commitment, and especially to our communities, and made a lasting impact. You've made a lasting impact. In fact, Te Lava for standing strong, representing with pride and paving the way for our future generations. and your work does not go unnoticed. Thank you for all that you've done. So wish you well with the election coming up on the 11th, is it? That's the voting. So get
Next
out there,
Saturday.
people. Yeah, this coming next week Saturday.
Yeah.
Not this Saturday. Not this Saturday. This coming Friday Saturday. The following week. Which is the 11th of October. Get up there, cast your votes. As you've heard, Nifo, the voting booths are over at some places at the supermarkets, even some train station, transport stations. So get up there and cast your votes. Please do not vote. Leave your voting papers on your TV or some. I've seen it in some other places, some houses. They're sitting on the fridges. So the fridge doesn't vote. The TV doesn't vote. It's the person that owns the TV and the fridge votes. So get up there and cast your votes for the candidate that you support, and also the party, whichever count, wherever in suburbs, those are wards and local boards that they're the candidates that you think you support and lines up with your need and what is required in your area, and as well as the town that you're residing in. But for this evening, for this afternoon, whaaftaitele lava. Okay, what?
Tue tasi asina vaenga le whaapopo atu whaamolmole sa vea. Ona o ieni stangata lai whaapea ele a fiala tau ile pālotal nei. E na o lato local boards lava po o lato i tūmalo. E pālotai. Ile ai toi whaamalamalama whaamanatu atu o le pālota le o le mea. E mō tangata malava o Aukilani. Tasi o Aukilani. Whai ua umona e le stala i te pālota. Ia pa ua e matua fo i ua overs full valu o tausanga. E mawhai lava ona e pālota ia. Whapena fo i ona whaamanatu ina i o walo. Le o le pālota le mō lato fo. Whaatai lava.
That's another reminder once again. So for all residents of Auckland, residents that are residents and permanent residents that are residing in Auckland, it's for everyone. So you're voting for the mayor and for the local boards and also the ward councillors. So therefore, if you get up there, look up if you're in the area. So go and try and find out all this information from the local Citizens Advice Bureau, and they'll actually tell you about it. Even get online on the council websites, and they've got all the details about all the candidates who are contesting seats. Tātou umalo whaafunga mai, ia nātou te lon me ton whai ol pālota nei mo tangata uma peon tau noa iai ele tu whine a nifo ile ne whiafi. Ona tātou taimi, we wish you all the best. Thank you for coming in once again.